Did you know that many tablets are not capable of playing back Netflix movies in HD quality? I know that sounds a bit weird for 2020, but it is actually true. Well, I'm NJ from mynexttablet.com, and I reviewed pretty much every tablet that was released in the last couple of years, and in this video I'm presenting you the best tablets to watch Netflix with. Before we start, I'd like to thank our sponsor ExpressVPN. With the VPN you can hide your IP address or encrypt your internet connection. That means your data is secure even if you connect to some weird Wi-Fi or so while traveling. Or you can use it to watch movies from Netflix and others that are not available in your location. ExpressVPN is the biggest premium VPN provider with over 3,000 servers in 94 countries. My Next Tablet viewers get 3 free months extra when purchasing the 12 months plan. You can find the link in the description below. Alright, a good Netflix tablet needs to get a couple of things right. First of all, it needs to have a good screen, of course. Then it needs to be able to play back Netflix in HD quality. That's very important. It needs to have good speakers too and a long battery life. Obviously, tablets have other features. They can have a pen, keyboards, very good performance and so on, but that's not the point of this video. If you want to have a tablet for other purposes, then check out mynexttablet.com. We've got best lists for the best 8-inch tablets, the best tablets for gaming, and so on. Alright, the overall best tablet to watch Netflix with is the Apple iPad Pro. And it doesn't matter if you are getting the 2020 or 2018 iPad Pro because their screens and speakers are the same. You can choose between an 11-inch and a 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Of course, the larger 12.9-inch screen is a bit nicer for watching movies. They're all Retina displays and they're very nice LCD IPS screens. They've got a bit taller aspect ratio, which means you can see black bars at the top and bottom if you're watching standard videos that have a 16:9 aspect ratio or even wider. The screens have a pixel density of 264 ppi and they are super bright with 600 nits, and they're brighter than pretty much every Android or Windows tablet you can get. They've got 4 very good speakers, so if you're holding them normally in front of you, you do get real stereo separation, and they've got a pretty long battery life of 14 to 18 hours. It depends on the version and under which conditions you test them. For my standard battery test, I'm always looping an HD video locally at medium brightness and activated Wi-Fi. So the real Netflix performance will always be a bit below of what I'm telling you here about the battery life. Sadly, all iPad Pros currently at least don't have a headphone jack. So if you want to use headphones, you either need to get a USB-C adapter or use wireless headphones. Of course, the iPad Pro have other features. They have a very good performance. In fact, they are faster than every Android tablet out there. And they've got other features like the Apple Pencil. You can get it with a keyboard. You've got Face ID, facial recognition, pretty good cameras and so on. But yeah, you don't need those for Netflix. The next best Netflix tablet is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e, which also is the best Android tablet you can buy currently. It has a 10.5-inch screen, which is a bit smaller than the 11-inch screen of the iPad Pro, but it does have a 16:10 aspect ratio, so actually the viewing area of a normal movie is pretty much the same between the 11-inch iPad Pro and the 10.5-inch Galaxy Tab S5e. Here we're getting a Super AMOLED screen which has a good contrast and very saturated colors. However, when comparing the screens directly, the iPad Pro screen is noticeably brighter and I like it a bit more overall, but you do get very nice colors with the Super AMOLED screen from Samsung. This one has a resolution of 2560 by 1600 pixels, and here again we get 4 really good speakers, so you do get a real stereo separation when watching movies. The Galaxy Tab S5e has a very long battery life with 15 hours in my standard test. Again, the Netflix runtime will be a bit below that. And sure, it has a great performance for an Android tablet. It has many premium features like the S Pen is included. You can get it with the keyboard, and it has a fingerprint scanner that sits underneath the screen. The design is very modern here too. By the way, you can also watch HDR content from Netflix on the Galaxy Tab S5e. Sadly, there's no headphone jack here either. The next alternative is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e or the Galaxy Tab S4. They are quite similar in many regards. First of all the Galaxy Tab S tablets currently have a 10.5-inch Super AMOLED screen. It's pretty much the same screen with very saturated colors. They've got the same pixel density, they all have a resolution of 2560 by 1600 pixels, and they're capable of playing back HDR Netflix content. Now they all have 4 very good speakers and a very long battery life. In case of the Galaxy Tab S5e, I measured 13.5 hours, and it too does not have a headphone jack. Now the Galaxy Tab S4 is a bit cheaper, so check if you can find a good deal on it. Otherwise the Galaxy Tab S5e will probably get a bit longer updates. Especially if you're using it as an entertainment tablet to watch Netflix with, you probably won't notice a difference between the Galaxy Tab S5e or the Galaxy Tab S6. The S5e and also the S4 of course are just cheaper versions of the S6 with the same screen and same speakers, but they're not as fast. So if you're also into gaming and so on, then of course you can get a better performance with the Tab S6. Now next on the list is a tablet that I won't recommend for other purposes. Please only get this if you are looking for a Netflix tablet or a tablet to watch movies with. It can also be YouTube or Amazon Prime Video and so on. And this tablet is the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 10. Now, this is a bit older tablet and it's still running Android 8. And you know the whole China-US trade war thing, we probably won't see any updates. And at the moment, there's no successor in sight, and especially not with Google services on it. But the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 10 is still being sold in many countries, and often you can get it at a really good price. And it has some qualities that are really good for Netflix, especially if you can get it as a cheap price, which means around $200 or so. It has a 10.1 inch IPS screen, a very nice one. It's a laminated screen. It has a full HD resolution with 1920 by 1200 pixels. And now comes the important part, it has 4 speakers as well, just like the iPad Pro or the Galaxy Tab S6 tablets, and the speakers have a really good quality. We also get a headphone jack in this case and a pretty good battery life with 12.5 hours in my test. Now the nice part about the MediaPad M5 Lite 10 is that you do get some premium features too. It has a full metal body, a fingerprint scanner, and you can use it with an optional pen. It's called the M Pen Lite. Again, the major downside is that it is running Android 8, and I really don't think that it will get an update at the moment. I just don't see it. But it's still a good entertainment tablet, and for watching Netflix it doesn't really matter if you're using Android 8, Android 9 or Android 10. But if you want a tablet for gaming or other work where you might need up-to-date software, then I wouldn't choose it anymore. Next on the list is the Apple iPad 7. This is the cheapest iPad that Apple is currently selling, and it has a 10.2 inch IPS screen. It's actually a very nice screen. However, the screen is not laminated, which means there's a small air gap between the touchscreen and the IPS layer below. That's not a big deal if you use it inside, but if you're using it outside, you will see reflections more easier. However, it is a very bright screen with 500 nits. It's almost as bright as the iPad Pro. So it is a very nice screen. The only issue is that the screen is not laminated. It has a high resolution too with 2160 by 1620 pixels. And again, it has the higher aspect ratio, 4:3 aspect ratio from Apple, which means you do see black bars at the top and bottom when watching movies. However, if you're watching very old Star Trek TV shows, you won't see any black bezels at all. So that's a positive side. The iPad 7 does have 2 good speakers. However, they're placed on one side when watching it in movie mode, and that means you won't hear any stereo separation. And that's really a downside compared to the other tablets previously on this list. So the speakers, they are good, but you don't hear any real stereo separation. You do get a headphone jack, however, and it does have other premium features from Apple, like the Touch ID fingerprint scanner. You can use it with the first generation Apple Pencil, and you can also get a keyboard cover. The battery life is very good with 13 hours in my standard test. A much cheaper option is the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1. It's a 10.1 inch tablet that usually costs around $200 and sometimes even less. It has a pretty nice IPS screen with a Full HD resolution of 1920 by 1200. It is a laminated IPS screen, a standard LCD screen, and it looks quite nice. It does have 2 speakers, and the speaker quality is pretty good for its price. But again, like with the iPad, the speakers are placed on one side when holding it in the movie orientation, so no, you won't hear any stereo separation here either. It does have a headphone jack and okay battery life. In my standard test I got 10.5 hours. It's a very cheap tablet. It does have up-to-date software, but it is very cheap, so it's lacking all premium features. There's no pen option, no fingerprint scanner or so. But it is one of the cheapest tablets that I can comfortably recommend for Netflix because it is capable of displaying Netflix movies in HD resolution. The last tablet on the list is also the cheapest tablet that I can comfortably recommend in the 10-inch range, and also it is the cheapest tablet that I can really comfortably recommend for Netflix, and that's the Amazon Fire HD 10, the current one, but the last generation is okay as well. It has a 10.1-inch IPS screen as well, and even though it's very cheap, it is a laminated screen with a full HD resolution of 1920 by 1200 pixels. It does have 2 speakers, and unlike with Samsung or with the standard iPad, they are on opposite sides of each other, so you do hear a real stereo separation, you have real stereo sound. Sadly, the speakers are not that amazing. They are worse overall than of the Galaxy Tab A 10.1, so that's why it's not above the Galaxy Tab A, because if you can choose between stereo separation or better bass and a bit fuller sound, I would go for the a bit fuller sound. Now it does have a fantastic battery life of 20 hours in my test. Again, that's for watching videos locally, but it also means that you will have a pretty good runtime when you watch Netflix, when you're streaming movies. It doesn't have any premium features, of course, it's very cheap, and yeah, that means you won't get a fingerprint scanner. The performance is fine for gaming, sure, but no fingerprint scanner, no metal body, it's a full plastic body, and yeah, 2 speakers, no pen or so. One downside of the Amazon Fire HD 10 is that you don't have any Google apps pre-installed. You can install them, but it might warrant your warranty. You have to live with Amazon's interface. Now you do have very easy access to all content from Amazon, and you can use Netflix too. And yeah, if you want, you can install the Google Play Store. I just wouldn't recommend the Play Store installing part for grandparents or so. It might be a bit too much work. But yeah, the Amazon Fire HD 10 is the cheapest tablet I can comfortably recommend for Netflix, and it does have a headphone jack. Alright, I think these are the best tablets for watching Netflix. They've got good screens, very nice speakers usually, and pretty good battery lives as well. And they are capable of playing Netflix with HD resolution. Now there are some tablets you might think, where are they? Why are they missing? And one of them is the Apple iPad Air. I just don't see the point of the iPad Air. If you want to spend a lot of money for a Netflix tablet, you can get the iPad Pro. And if you want to spend a little bit less, you can get the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 or S5e, and they have good screens and 4 speakers. The iPad Air only has 2 speakers, and again, they are on one side only, so you won't get any real stereo separation when watching it normally. You also might have noticed that all Lenovo tablets are missing from this list. Now I did review pretty much every Lenovo tablet that was released. The last one is this one, the Lenovo Tab M10 FHD Plus. But the thing with the Lenovo tablets is that they don't support Netflix in HD resolution. They've got a Widevine Level of L3, which means you can't watch Netflix in HD. Not even 1280 by 720. It's below that, so of course they can't be on a tablet list called the best tablets for watching Netflix with. They've got some that could be very nice for Netflix, like the Lenovo Yoga Smart Tab, with good speakers. It has a good battery life, a very long battery life, and also a very nice design with a built-in stand. But with that one you can't watch Netflix in HD resolution either, so it can't be on this list. And the same goes for tablets from Xiaomi or other Chinese manufacturers like Shubi and so on. They all don't support Netflix with HD resolution. Now if you're getting a Windows tablet, you can watch Netflix in HD, of course. You can just use a browser, but the Netflix app supports that too. However, I wouldn't recommend a Windows tablet purely for content consumption. The speakers are not as good, at least not usually. The one of the Surface Pro 7, yeah, they're good, but it's a $1,000 tablet or so, especially with accessories. So yeah, I can't really recommend that just for watching Netflix. And for watching Netflix, iPad OS or Android tablet, it's just nicer to navigate for content consumption. But if you need a Windows tablet for work or so, then sure, you can watch Netflix in HD with that one too. Yeah, these are the best tablets for watching Netflix, as I still have many of them here with me. If you have any questions, please write them down below in the comments, and also check out the description. There we've got a link to the website, mynexttablet.com, and there we're always updating the list for the best Netflix tablets. So even if you're watching this in a couple of months or a year or even later, There you can always find our current updated list. Again, I review pretty much every tablet that is released almost worldwide, and I always check Netflix because I watch Netflix myself, and I always test the resolution, how high you can watch Netflix with it. I'm NJ from mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.